إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
Dotam kafifale kafium di kami amne kami dini di banwenim gange dini sagut maboy talon saging butang malfabi dan wengam kami bagam kami knudung nangam kami tibag baya emak bukaya doatan.
And with great joy to the only God our Savior through Jesus Christ our Lord be the glory and the majesty, dominion both now and forever. Amen. Give him the glory and the majesty, dominion and authority, both now and forever. Bayang magiliw, pero sa silanganan, alab ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig, di ka pasisihin. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mo baga, may dilagang tula at tawid sa paglayang minamahal. Ang isap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagbibigay. Ang bituin na tanong na kailan pang may di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw na wala't pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
You may now take your seats. To the members of the academe, representatives from the government, the private or the business sectors, and civil society organizations, to our university officials and chairpersons, and friends, guest speakers who flew all the way here in the home of the champions, magandang GenSan and maayong buntag kaninyong tanan. So welcome to the 5th Mindanao Policy Research Forum with this year's theme, Navigating the Challenges of the New Globalization, Local Actions for Mindanao. So later today, we will be having discussions and presentations from our speakers and guests, which will be divided into 3 sessions. So first session will be the new globalization and understanding its implications in Mindanao, to be followed by the second session, navigating the new globalization, local actions for Mindanao, and lastly, panel discussion on ways forward. So our forum today is just one of the events that will be held for the month of September in celebration of the Development Policy Research Month, which is annually held on the month of September. So to officially welcome us to this forum, allow me to introduce our speaker. He is a native of Bacolod, Calawi, Lanao del Sur, Philippines, and a member of the Philippine Sharia Bar after having passed the 1991 Sharia Bar examination. He is a holder of Doctor of Philosophy and Islamic Civilization, which he has obtained from the International Institute of Islamic Thought and Civilization, International Islamic University, Malaysia. He is one of the students of the known new Muslim philosopher Syed Muhammad Naqib Alatas of Malaysia. He is awarded as Outstanding Alumnus in Academics Institute of Islamic Studies, University of the Philippines in Diliman, Quezon City on April 22, 2005. He has authored 3 articles published internationally. First is The Islamic Family Law in the Philippines, a Historical Survey, which was published on the year 2001. Second is The Secularism in the Application of Islamic Family Law in the Philippines, published in 2002. And third, The Legal Impediments to the Application of Islamic Family Law in the Philippines, published in April 2007. His doctoral dissertation is titled The Legal Impediments to the Application of Islamic Marriage Law in a Non-Muslim Secular State, the case of the Philippines, which he has successfully defended on March 2002 in the panel of 8 international Muslim scholars headed by Professor Dr. Syed Muhammad Naqib Al-Atas as chairman. He has been connected with the Mindanao State University, General Santos City as faculty member since 1992 and as college secretary of the College of Law Extension. He is also my professor in Sharia, one of my Sharia subjects. Ladies and gentlemen, Mindanao State University's Chancellor, Dr. Anshari P. Ali.
Honorable Assistant Secretary of the Mindanao Development Authority, Romeo Montenegro, the Dr. Celia Reyes of the Philippine Institute for Development Authority, Studies, then Vice Chancellor, Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs of the Mindanao State University, Dr. Michelle Lawas, the Honorable City Councilor of General Santos City, who is the former Mayor of GenSan, Madam Rosalita Nuñez, other officials who are with us, scholars, government officials, heads of the different non-government agencies or organizations, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, magandang GenSan, peace be with you, and assalamu alaikum. On behalf of the Mindanao State University, General Santos City, I welcome you to this 5th Mindanao Policy Research Forum on navigating the challenges of the globalization. The Mindanao State University is the biggest public university in the country in terms of student populations, spreading all over the 11 campuses of the MSU system all over Mindanao. MSU GenSan is pursuing to achieve its vision to become globally competitive university in Southern Philippines with the inculcation of quality education to our students in order to produce graduates who are competent to provide quality services in line with the international standards, applying new information technology. The internationalization programs of this university was intensified by the hosting last July 2019 of the first international symposium on the philosophy of Islamic education and the Muslim contribution to science and development in collaboration with Sharjah University of the United Arab Emirates and some academic institutions in Southeast Asia. It was followed by signing of Memorandum of Understanding with some universities in Southeast Asia with the purpose of establishing joint collaboration and educational research project, including the introduction of Islamic banking system and the halal industry. However, while we are intensifying our efforts in strengthening our internationalization programs, we are also pursuing the special mandate of the university in helping the Muslims and other indigenous communities, including the marginalized people, within the service area of the university in Mindanao, in enhancing their economic condition and the educational attainment of their young generations, so that they may be integrated into the mainstream of the national body politics. I can say that MSU is the only university in the country that has special mandate to help the indigenous people in Mindanao. I do not know if other university in the country has inculcated in their own mandate to help the indigenous people in Mindanao. Similarly, the university is committed to assist the national government in its efforts of realizing peace, reconciliation, and integration in Mindanao, being part of the vital solution to the Mindanao problem. We usually invite young people, including the children of the revolutionary movement, that instead of joining with the revolutionary movements in the jungle, they should join with the university to study in order to become professionals, to help their parents in enhancing their economic conditions and for the development of their own cultural communities. In addition, MSU GEC has already come up with some affirmative programs and collaboration with the local government units and other local partners in the field of agriculture, fisheries, engineering, business administration, and social sciences. And we look forward to strengthening these measures with partnership and development project with the Mindanao Development Authority. However, all of these initiatives of our university are affected in one way or another by this new globalization, or called Industrial Revolution 4.0, which is believed to have caused the worsening global inequality, weakening of social cohesion and trust, and environmental degradation. For me, this phenomenon happened as a result of the Western civilization approach of knowing the truth and reality of things, which is anchored on confusing ontology and epistemology, as well as secular principle. However, such kind of uncertainty can also be remedied by enhancing the fundamentals of our educational system with introductions of the Eastern tradition and the teachings of universal values such as sincerity, transparency, justice and fairness, as well as the good moral character based on religious injunction in order to produce young generations equipped with wisdom about the truth and reality of things and capable of distinguishing what is right and wrong belief and statement, what is good and bad action while embarking on their navigation for globalization. Lastly, we welcome you once again and feel at home while you are in this university. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chancellor Ali, for that warm and informative welcome message. At this point in time, allow me to introduce our next speaker for the keynote address in behalf of Honorable Ronel C. Rivera. Our next speaker is a former faculty of Mindanao State University GenSan campus. She is also a former mayor of General Santos City and presently our city councilor. Ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome Honorable Rosalita Nuñez.
Thank you. Actually, we have our session. I have to beg off because from the session, the mayor called me up. First of all, he wants to extend to all of you his warmest welcome for coming to GenSan and congratulating MSU for this, the sponsorship of this forum. And this is badly needed really by our country. So bear with me. Chancellor Ali, of course, my good friend. We're trying our best to work on maybe Mindanao development. Minda is around, no? And maybe they can help. We're trying to put up a college of medicine here in General Santos City MSU campus, since we don't have a college of medicine in Region 12. And I do not tire marketing the idea to anybody who is willing to listen, willing or unwilling to listen. Assistant Secretary Montenegro of the Mindanao Development Authority, Dr. Celia Reyes, President of the Philippine Institute for Development Studies, Dr. Michelle Lawas, Vice Chancellor, the new Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs of MSU General Santos City, my fellow officials of this government and employees of this government, ladies and gentlemen, a very, very pleasant good morning to all of you. Okay. You have a very timely theme for your forum. And si Mayong was complaining, si Edna, that they had invited so many. But you have this number of people, but this is, for me, a very good number already. And in the Philippines, research really is not a very attractive profession. But, in fact, we're lagging very far behind other countries. Among the trilogy of functions of the university, now you have your instruction, yung community service, then research. Kolela tayo sa research. Nakakaingit, as I was looking at the pie, parang pizza, no? Of different countries with yung mabilog-bilog doon, representing researches in Singapore, in Germany, in Japan. Parang punong-puno ang kanilang pie, no? But ours, halos hindi makita yung tuldok. But we will try to catch up. The Filipinos are very good and very intelligent, no? And we can do that. Well, let's go to what we are supposed to do today. We're talking about globalization. The 21st century phenomenon, of globalization was thought by many economic theorists to be a powerful panacea to solve the imbalance between highly developed countries, the developing countries, and least developing countries. A solution to solve the widening disparity between rich nations and poor nations, rich people and poor people. Globalization indeed has made countries, people, and business around the world more interconnected because forces like technology, transportation, media, and global finance made it easier for goods, services, ideas, and people to cross traditional borders and boundaries. Globalization offers both benefits and challenges. While it can provide big opportunities for economic growth to improve the quality of life for many people, it can also lead to challenges with the welfare of workers, economies, and environment especially. As business globalize and shift their operations between and amongst countries to take advantage of lower cost of doing business in other world regions. So you have there uncertainty. Liberalization or openness to trade and removal of trade barriers among countries through agreements has played a large role in the economic ascent of Asia, such as Japan, Korea, Taiwan, China, and India, maybe also a little about the Philippines. Trade liberalization, of course, would also depend on a range of other critical factors, including macroeconomic policies, the business and regulatory environment of the government, the legal regime, the quality of infrastructure like roads and bridges and airports, the quality of public services, including, most of all, very, very importantly, the education of the people of the country. While it is true that open or liberalized trade and international integration tend to increase the overall economic pie, the distribution of the larger pie most of the time is uneven. Research has documented that the expansion of global trade creates unfair exchanges between larger and smaller economies. Even among bigger and smaller, like look at the tantrums of President Donald Trump. Multinational companies, the MNCs and industrialized economies, capture significantly more values because they have more financial leverage and can dictate advantageous terms of exchange, which end up victimizing developing nations and consequently its people. While life has been made more convenient and comfortable to the haves, globalization has worsened poverty and inequality. To the global trade and restructuring and trade wars has brought about volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity of what the future holds, as foretold by Alvin Toffler in his book Future Shock, written decades ago. Globalization has also brought about the erosion of trust and social cohesion and the proliferation of disinformation or fake news. Most greatly affected are people and the environment. People who are not ready with skills and knowledge are left out in the cold. Cultural values are gradually eroded and unlearned. For example, the collective and bayanihan spirit of the Filipino against the rugged individualism of the West. I cannot imagine why it would be very easy for the Philippines to have a PhilHealth program, and it would be a big problem to the Americans. Nobody is complaining in the Philippines. And recently, you have the universal health care of the Department of Health, which which will benefit everybody, especially the poor and the marginalized. Health concerns unknown before are part also of the global reality of globalization, since people carrying people and animals, recently yung problem of the hogs in the Philippines, are carrying the swine, yes, carrying diseases are more mobile from one country to another. People move faster, taking airplanes. Here in GenSan City, nobody takes already a boat. We don't have any boat. Everybody takes the plane for Iloilo. As we are transitioning into a new phase of globalization, what local actions are being done by our local government? Now here is Mayor Ronel speaking. First and foremost, we prepare our people through adequate education. That is the best weapon for any kind of change. The city has focused on the education of its citizens, providing free early childhood education and scholarships for deserving and qualified college students. The local school board has developed a strong partnership, pakialamiro, with the Department of Education in order to continuously improve the quality of education, which will be relevant and responsive to the demands of globalization. Health and delivery of social services is also a primary concern. A sustainable growth and development is the mantra for the city's economic growth, taking into consideration the preservation and conservation of the environment, because the environment is next to people that suffers the effects of globalization. The continuing dialogue for a final peaceful solution to the internal peace problems of the country, especially in Mindanao, is also a must, and we are trying to do our own in our own little way what we can do in General Santos City. Similarly, the Philippines must maintain a healthy, peaceful coexistence with our neighboring countries such as China. Do not go to war against China. Baka manalo tayo. After all, peace and order and economic growth and development are parallel tracks of the same railroad, leading to economic prosperity and the improvement of the quality of life of the people. May I congratulate the organizers of the forum. Rest assured, the City Hall is always ready to support MSU in this endeavor and all your other endeavors. The need for policy researches for the sustainable growth and development of our country is of utmost significance and is very, very necessary. Mabuhay po tayong lahat. Mabuhay ang Pilipinas. Maraming salamat.
Thank you very much, Councilor Nuñez. Now to award this souvenir and certificate of appreciation, may I call Chancellor Ali, Dr. Celia, and Asik Montenegro to award this certificate of appreciation to Honorable Councilor Nuñez. Ma'am, may we ask you again here upstage? So this certificate of appreciation is awarded to Honorable Councilor Rosalita Nuñez for imparting knowledge and expertise as keynote speaker during the 5th Mindanao Policy Research Forum on navigating the challenges of the new globalization held today here in General Santos City, Philippines. Signed by Dr. Celia M. Reyes, President of PEDS. Signed by Secretary Emmanuel Piñol, Chairman of Mindanao Development Authority, and signed by Dr. Anshari P. Ali, Chancellor of Mindanao State University. Okay, thank you very much once again, ma'am. So now, before we proceed to our first session of this morning, let us have a 5-minute break to give time to our presenters to prepare their piece. And to those who would want to relieve themselves, we do have a restroom at the end of this hall on this side of the building. And for our Muslim brothers and sisters, we have a prayer room at the second floor of the College of Law building. So you may just ask one of our usherates to guide you if you would want to go there for your afternoon prayer. Thank you.